I have a dream. We shall overcome.
I accept the Nobel Prize for Peace.
We as a people will get to the promised land. We want to be free.
I'm Clayborne Carson, professor of history at Stanford University and director of the Martin Luther King Research and Education Institute.
Clayborne Carson is an internationally recognized historian and expert on the life of Martin Luther King Jr. He has created a free breakthrough online course available on the internet.
This was the home where Martin Luther King was born January 15th, 1929. It was the home that his parents shared with his grandparents. He was born in the upstairs bedroom here. This was the place Martin Luther King called his second home, the place where he learned the basic lessons of life. This is Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. It was here in 1954 that Martin Luther King came for his first pastorate.
An eyewitness to the 1963 March on Washington, Carson brings us to the site of crucial events in the freedom struggles of the 1960s, offering the perspective of a veteran historian.
And I first came here on August 28th, 1963, the day of the March on Washington. When I was 19 years old, I was near this spot. You can imagine this space with the reflecting pool in the background here and the Lincoln Memorial.
Carson continues to look at history from where it happened, at Selma, Alabama, where marchers were brutally beaten in 1965.
We are here at the Edmund Pettus Bridge here in Selma. 50 years ago, history was made when 600 people crossed this bridge and helped bring about the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Here we are today. History is being made again as 100 times that many people walk across this bridge and commemorate that great event.
Very, very exciting time for us to have Martin's papers finally in the process of being published.
More than 3 decades of scholarship and research by Carson's team at Stanford University has revealed King's inner self as well as his worldview as an American prophet.
His great skill was his visionary way of looking at the movement, of seeing it in the context of a global struggle. When Coretta Scott King asked me to edit and publish the papers of her late husband, these materials, which are now part of the papers of Martin Luther King, were available only to a handful of scholars. They were deeply buried in archives. Now, because of the revolutionary communications technology of the internet, we can make these materials, these windows into the past, these new ways of understanding Martin Luther King, available to anyone with an internet connection.
Another eyewitness who was literally with King for his last 8 years was his lawyer, Clarence Jones. He has a special appreciation for Carson's work.
Nobody else living today, nobody living today has done or will leave a legacy of what you were doing.
This is room 306 of the Lorraine Motel here in Memphis. This is where Martin Luther King Jr. spent his final hours before he walked out on the balcony. And this is where he stood when he was assassinated, right outside room 306. Our work is what people 100 years from now will know about Martin Luther King. Is if they have any serious interest in him, this is where they will start.